This is part 6 of the Chapter 9 review, and we're going to finish up with problem 41. And we were just about to pull up our calculator and enter this calculation to find angle B. So what we have is arcsine of, now I have some set of values in the numerator, so I'm going to enter those in parentheses. 4 sine 112, and I'm going to close that out, divided by 9, and then close that parenthesis. That should give me my answer for the angle, 24.3 degrees. Now before I go any further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to store that value, because I'm going to need this precision, and I don't want to write these values down, and I don't want to drop one of the decimal places. So I'm going to store this in, since this is angle B, I'm going to use memory location B. Now if you don't have a TI-83, most scientific calculators have at least a couple of memory locations. So what I always do is I make a notation on my paper of where I stored a particular value. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and circle the B, indicating that I've stored the value in B in my memory. If I had, say, memory locations 1, 2, and 3, I might write a 1 or a 2 or a 3 up here to indicate that that value was stored in that memory location. So let's just write it here, 24.3. Now that we've got that B value, this is 24.3, I'm going to go ahead and find C. We can use the triangle sum theorem to take these two values, subtract them from 180, and find the C value. There's no way around at this point using a calculated value to find this, but that's okay because we're not actually approximating the next value. So we haven't lost any precision that we don't have with this. So we're okay with that. So let's go ahead and bring back up our calculator, and we'll say 180 minus memory location B minus 112, and that is the value of our C angle. So 43.7. So let's go ahead and write 43.7 for angle C. All right, and we might want to just go ahead and store that value just in case. So store in memory location C, and I'm going to go ahead and circle that and say that that is stored in C. All right, now that we have all three angles, we should be able to go ahead and find this side. And I'm going to once again use the law of sines, only this time I'm going to use this angle, this side, and then I'm going to use this angle to find this side C. So it's probably a good idea that we stored our value C so that we have the full precision to use instead of just this approximation here. The ratio for the first angle is sine of 112 over 9. And to complete the proportion, we have sine. I'm just going to put the approximation, even though we're not going to use that in the actual calculation, and that's over C. So now we got to do a little algebraic manipulation to find C. So we're going to multiply both sides by C. So C sine 112 over 9 equals sine of 43.7. We're going to multiply by 9. C sine 112 equals sine 43.7 times 9, and then divide by sine 112. So C equals sine 43.7 times 9 divided by sine of 112. Now again, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my calculator. This time let's move it over here and let's enter this calculation in. So again, we're going to have a couple of things in the numerator, so I'm just going to use parentheses just in case. Sine of, now this was angle C, so I'm going to recall my C value, and I'm going to multiply that by 9. There's my numerator, divided by sine of 112. And it's exactly 112, so I don't have anything stored. Sine of 112. And that should be my side length of C, 6.7. Let's go ahead and write that. 6.7. So now we have solved the triangle. Yes, I told you it was going to be tedious. This takes a little while to do, but with a little practice, you should be okay with it. So let's go ahead and do problem 43. For problem 42, they gave us 2 angles and 1 side. So let's go ahead and draw our triangle and see how things work out for this one. So this is 42. Let's draw our triangle. A, B, C. They gave us A as 28. They gave us B, which is 64. And they gave us C, which is 55. Well, it should be fairly straightforward to find C. That's all we have to do is subtract these from 180. So let's go ahead and do that. So that gives us 88 degrees for C. All right, now we have to figure out what we're going to use for these 2 sides. And it looks like the most logical thing to do would be to use law of sines again, simply because we have nice clean angle measures, so there's no approximations, and a nice clean side here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, one additional thing, I probably should have used this in the last problem, but I wasn't really thinking about it. Based on the law of proportions, the law of sines can also be written as A over sine A equals B over sine B, which equals C over sine C. And I wasn't really thinking about it one way or another. I just kind of wrote it the first way it came to my mind. But in this case, it'll probably be easier since we're solving for sides. So we can put our target side up here, and it'll be fewer operations to solve for it. So A equals, or A is to sine 28 as, let's use B, or no, let's use C. So C, which is 55, over sine of 88, sine C. And solving for A, it's just a simple case of multiplying both sides by sine 28. So A equals 55 sine 28 over sine 88. So let's go ahead and put that in our calculator. And we have, open parentheses, 55 sine 28 divided by sine of 88. And let's get our value. 25.8. So A is 25.8. Now, let's find B in the same fashion. We'll use 55 over sine 88 equals B, over sine 64. So we're looking for b here, which is opposite 64. So multiply both sides by sine 64. 55 sine 64 over sine 88 equals b. Let's get out our calculator. And we have 55 sine 64 divided by sine 88. 49.7. So let's go ahead and write that. And this triangle is solved. Let's go ahead and move on to problem 43. So here we are in 43 again with an angle and two sides. So it looks like another law of sines problem. So 43, let's draw our triangle in here. A, B, C. We have C is 48 and B is 20 and C is 28. We're looking for an angle, so I'm going to put the angle on top. So let's do it down here. Sine 48 is to 28 as sine B is to 20. Multiplying by 20, we have 20 sine 48 over 28 equals sine B, and then taking the arc sine of both sides, we'll have B. So, putting that back into our calculator, we have second sine, and it's going to be 20 sine 48 divided by 28. 32.1. And again, I'm going to go ahead and store this. This is angle B. So store alpha B. And let's go ahead and write it. 32.1. So this is 32.1 degrees. And now let's go ahead and find this. Well, we can find this angle at this point. So let's, using our calculator, we can say 180 minus 48 minus angle B. And that gives us 99.9. And we'll store that in A, because that's angle A. And let's just go ahead and write that here. So that's 99.9 degrees. And now we can find this side. So we're going to use this, and we'll go ahead and use that. So A is to sine 99.9 as 28 is to sine 48. Multiplying both sides by sine 99, 28 sine 99 equal over sine 48 equals A. Now we put that in our calculator. We have 28 sine A, because 99.9 was stored in A, and that's divided by sine 48. Hit enter. 37.1 is our side. So it's approximately 37.1. and that is 43. We'll do 44 in the next video.